You know what I love, but like, never have the opportunity to talk about? Godzilla. So let's fix that. My patrons voted for this, so let's do it. So, Godzilla. We all love him, he's the best. Let me tell you a couple of cool things about Godzilla. Godzilla, or Gojira, is the longest running film franchise to date, which is crazy. I didn't know that until I started researching for this video. It started in 1954 and is still going, with its most recent film, at least at the time of this video, being Kong vs. Zilla, which came out in 2021, and it was good. I had a lot of fun with it. Check it out. Godzilla is a big old gorilla whale, which is why he makes that sound effect with his roar. It's supposed to feel like a mix of a gorilla's hefty, large-chested roar and the melodic, echoing bellows from whales. Gojira actually comes from smashing the Japanese words of gorilla and whale together. He's got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and he became an official, legally registered resident of Japan in 2015. Clearly, he has been a massive influence to a ton of people. He has a legacy that's nearly as big as him, and that gets reflected on how often he gets referenced in pop culture. We've seen our favorite kaiju popping up in films, cartoons, and TV shows and all kinds of things for decades. But today, I wanted to talk about the things that don't just reference Godzilla, but were born and created out of his inspiration. Also, this was an idea my mother had. So again, if you like this video, let me know and make sure to thank my ma. Let's go. Let's start with something a bit more broad. Steven Spielberg has said that Godzilla was his biggest inspiration for making Jurassic Park, which is probably why he ignored the science that said dinosaurs likely had feathers and opted instead to make them all reptilian, to better fit his Godzilla inspiration. So we've got Reptar from Rugrats, Mr. Gus from Uncle Grandpa, Tyranitar from Pokemon, and Kaiju Dragon from Dragon City, and these are all examples of green, dinosaur-like characters who, in one way or another, seem to have taken inspirations from Godzilla. The most distinct factor being both their color palette, their size, and the back spike fin things that are a classic on Godzilla as well. Lots of times, characters will just slap the word Zilla onto the end of their names to allude to the famous kaiju. The Simpsons have both Buttzilla and Fartzilla, which, you know, keeping it classy. King Koopa was once referred to as Koopzilla in an episode of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, and Sonic has a whole comic series where his friends became huge and earned the Zilla suffix. In fact, Zilla, more often than not, is just used to describe something's size, whether it's physical, like the examples I've given here, or metaphorical, like how it gets used with the word Bridezilla, where the context is it's more used to describe a person with an aggressive, big personality. Then there's the more on-the-nose example of Godzilla, a character from My Hero Academia. That's awfully close to being copyright infringement right there. Some inspirations take the form of mimicking exact posters to reference Godzilla, like this cover for Steven Universe's comic issue number 6. And then there's also this poster for the Mecha update for Team Fortress 2. And you know what? While we're on Mechagodzilla, let's shift focus and take a look at him next. Lots of characters get robotic variations of themselves in media, and these versions are usually antagonists of the original, just like how Mecha and Godzilla's relationships work. An obvious example of this is the various robotic versions of Sonic the Hedgehog. Then, once again, let's take a look at Pokemon. In one episode, a giant Mecha Tyranitar was made to fight a Golurk, taking the already Godzilla-inspired Pokemon and literally just making it mecha. In fact, this whole episode is like filled to the brim with various Godzilla references. But on top of all that, Generation 8 of Pokemon introduced Duraludon, while taking more obvious inspirations from the Shard in the UK, especially its Gigantamax form. Its Pokedex entries state it has a fierce rivalry with Tyranitar. In essence, making this the mecha rival to the Godzilla Pokemon. While we're on Pokemon, it's speculated that Aerodactyl took inspirations from Rodan, but that's sort of questionable. Both are basically just pterodactyls, so whether or not it was a specific reference is sort of up in the air. That's why you don't find a lot of Rodan references out there, because it's just pterodactyl. Similarly, Mothra's Pokemon influences are a little speculative as well, as you could take a look at any of the butterfly-designed Pokemon to see some inspirations from Mothra in them. Though, if it's specifically because they were inspired by Mothra, or they all just use these more exotic colors than usual butterflies, is up in the air. The only Pokemon I feel comfortable with calling fully influenced by Mothra is Gigantamax Butterfree. Like, look at those wings. Like, it feels obvious, right? There's also Mothula, an enemy from the Legend of Zelda series, though thanks to its super dark color palette, you could also say this was inspired more from Batra instead. Let's just split the difference and say it was both. That works. In Silent Hill 1, Harry Mason fights off a larva monster that eventually turns into a giant moth-like creature. In the Kirby Adventure series, there's a monster named Masoguba, accompanied by the small twin girls that are often accompanying the real Mothra in the series proper. These twin girls are usually a better indication that this is a Mothra reference than the various bug-like designs we've seen across all these other examples. And to finish off the Mothra influences, the character Insectosaurus from Monsters vs. Aliens is meant to reference kaiju in general, though it's apparent by its butterfly-like wings that Mothra was its specific inspiration. So yeah, Mothra's influences are hard to spot, just like Rodan, because she's really just a big bug. The most recognizable aspect of her inspirations is the wing color and pattern. This yellow with black and reds in circular shapes seems to be the biggest identifiable feature for Mothra. And last but not least, there's Godzilla's most coolest rival, Ghidorah. There was an anime series called Shinzo, which used a blue three-headed monster called Grandora, which looks almost one-to-one like a ripoff of Ghidorah. There was an episode of Fairly Godparents where Poof turned himself into a Ghidorah-esque monster. In The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, the kids have their own version of Ghidorah, but this one was called Kitty-Ra, and it was their cat. The ultimate Blue Eyes White Dragon also features 3 heads, just like our favorite Dragon King. And wrapping up once again with another Pokemon reference, Hydreigon is said to be inspired by Ghidorah as well as the Hydras in general. So a lot of Ghidorah's inspirations are like blue? Well, I was not expecting that. The only one with a signature yellow color was from Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. And if you're wondering why Pokemon get so many Godzilla references in them, it's because the Japanese distribution rights for Pokemon is Toho, the same people who make Godzilla. In fact, a lot of Pokemon use exact cries from Godzilla monsters in their cries, especially in the movies. And that's it. It's been fun checking out some creatures that have been inspired by these legendary classics. And of course, there was a lot more Godzilla monsters that I didn't cover here. So if you know of anything I left out, let me know in the comments. Thank my mother if you liked this video, and let me know if you liked it. I'm really just kind of trying something new. Shout out to my $10 patrons, you're all amazing. Nako, James Dodds, Cool Duck, Andrew, Ramiel, Valhalla Knight, Chamomile, G Extreme, Classy Critic, Surge, Mordred Pendragon, Boulder Off Bros, Sunny Shy, Great Bar, Caleb Grimm, Pentamenta, Genital War Thunder, Carmen, Order, Jake, Storm, Amber, Lolith, Livid Aries, Matt Frost, Just a Chap in a Top Hat, Hype Man, and Luno the Evoker. So yeah, my patrons voted for this topic, which this was the idea, but I didn't know how to go about it. I had fun with it. It was fun looking it all up. That's definitely the best part of all of this. And I got to see really cool Godzilla art. Let me know if you know of any other Godzilla, like, references and things. Who's your favorite Godzilla monster? And any and all thoughts and opinions, leave them in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.